Welcome back, everybody. The entrepreneurs and co-founders of Groupon are aiming to create their own Silicon Valley in Chicago. Brad Keywell and Eric Lefkofsky are investing millions into mostly Midwest-based technology startups through their new venture capital fund called Lightbank. Since founding Groupon back in 2007, Eric and Brad have raised over $150 million in funding. And listen to this. They've generated about $1.5 billion in returns. Nice returns there. Eric is, by the way, is one of 15 entrepreneurs that Forbes magazine has predicted will be worth $1 billion by the year 2005. We like to talk about that.
2015.
We're into money here.
2015.
2015. So you got a little ways to go?
Yeah,
Is it 2015?
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this, because Silicon Valley in Chicago. Why did you guys decide to do this, Brad? Why don't you start?
We are already in the process in Chicago of creating a major technology community. It's just a matter of acknowledging it and capitalizing on it. And so we are taking some of the money that we've made and investing it back into other companies that are coming out of the Midwest. And that, to me, is the beginnings of a real ecosystem.
Is there a lot in the Midwest? I think we think of the West Coast, Silicon Valley, the typical. Is there a lot going on in the Midwest?
Yeah.
There is.
I mean, there's a ton. I think Chicago is underrated. I mean, it has a huge infrastructure. It's got like 7 million people, I think, or more. It's got fantastic universities. It's got hardworking, kind of, mid-American. You have all that kind of energy and young people, and it's just got this great ecosystem, but it's been overlooked. I think the two coasts, being in New York, right, this is one of them. These two coasts are very powerful, and I think money has historically migrated to the coast, but now all of a sudden people are looking at Chicago saying, there's amazingly talented entrepreneurial people, and it's a great city, and there's no reason that we can't build great technology companies here.
How did you guys, come up with the idea to build a community there? I mean, did you go to Northwestern? Did you grow up in Illinois, or did you just find a nice spot? I mean, how did it start?
Well, we're both from Michigan and moved to Chicago shortly after graduating the University of Michigan. But as Groupon and Echo, Global Logistics, and MediaBank and others of our companies grew, we began to employ enough people that a critical mass formed. And then the question is, what does it mean? Does it mean that it's a one-off, or does it mean that it's the acknowledgement that we can do something very special, and then others can also, both before, obviously, Netscape and others have started in the Midwest, and there'll be many more. And this is an impetus for others.
Matt and I have talked with Andrew Mason of Groupon. I mean, it's really pretty fascinating how it's taken on. I mean, social commerce, you guys, where do you see it going?
Well, I mean, it's going to be, it already is huge, and it'll become, I think, monumentally huge. I mean, there's just this seismic shift in terms of how local businesses connect to the internet and how much money can be made by basically taking these social communities and monetizing what's happening inside these social sites. It's not just sites like Facebook and Twitter, but really it's all over the place. I mean, people are using the internet in new ways. And I think everyone saw this like 10 years ago. It just took a long time for the basic infrastructure to be there, for these social networks to build. And now all of a sudden, everyone from Main Street to, the local Chinese restaurant, the local spa, is realizing there's huge money to be made and huge new customers to be found on the internet.
Actually, Chris Sacca is the first person to tell me about these location-based services. And when we were talking to Andrew about it, I thought it's kind of wild for an older guy like me. I get freaked out having someone know where I am all the time. But the kids are used to it. They've sort of gotten used to this kind of way of being social on the internet, so everyone sees it, and they don't mind checking in wherever they go either.
Absolutely. The old way of targeting somebody on the internet was more macro, when it was about big generalizations about who they are. Now the way to target somebody is to figure out who their friends are, who they travel with theoretically on the internet, and take that social graph and find ways to deliver things that they want locally. It's the local part that I think makes social commerce so relevant, and that will make it really the cornerstone of internet commerce for years and years to come. We're just getting started.
So what's the next kind of interesting pathway when it comes to social commerce? I mean, is it just bigger and better Groupon, or what is it?
Well, I mean, first of all, Groupon's like at this point, it's like a movement. I mean, it's not just Groupon, but it's the people who have followed that model and adopted it. And I think what you're looking at is this seismic shift of dollars that will leave traditional forms of advertising and find companies like Groupon. I mean, it's not inconceivable that, $1 trillion of business is one day done in this kind of a format. And then after this, it'll extend. I mean, right now it's social commerce in terms of retail. Eventually it'll move to travel. It'll move to maybe home improvement. It'll move to healthcare. And what you'll find is that these communities that are existing on the web can be targeted and can form and can aggregate. around some idea, and that's the power of Groupon. It's basically the power of people. It's, you get 100 people together, and you can do amazing things. Get 1,000 people together, more amazing things.
Do you need, by the way, at all any roots in traditional society? I mean, does a store on the internet need a brick and mortar counterpart, or does advertising on the web need to have traditional television or magazine advertising behind it?
Well, clearly, if you've got a store in the real world, there's a powerful connection that can be made between that store and your internet world, your internet community. In terms of television and other media types, that's a good question. The internet lets you do things in a targeted way that is absolutely unique against many other mediums. And we are part of a movement now trying to figure out innovative ways to take advantage of what exists. As Eric said, this just didn't exist 10 years ago. Now the foundation is set.
You guys are investing in these companies. Got 20 seconds left. I mean, you got lots of folks coming to you with ideas, good ideas, or what?
I mean, we've been inundated, right? I mean, we've been fortunate to have a bunch of success in building some of these businesses, and especially in light of Groupon's success, we become a magnet of deals in the Midwest. And what we're finding is that there's just incredible quality of deals in the Midwest.
Well, come back and talk to us about some of the other deals, will you?
We'd love to.
Great, Brad, Eric, thank you so much. We appreciate it.